Okay, so here's our review for arithmetic sequences, our first quiz, and we're looking at the recursive and the explicit formula. So we're going to go through these, but basically you'll see that we just want to make sure we understand this guy and what these little terms mean. But basically, remember, an arithmetic sequence has a common difference. So like in A, 9 to 20, 20 to 31, 31 to 42, every time you're going up plus 11. Okay? So with that, we know that yes, this is arithmetic. The difference is 11. And then make sure you read your questions carefully. You have the next three terms. So 42 is here, and I'm adding 11. I've got 53, 64, and then 75. And that's all that is. Now looking at one like B, from 2 to 4 we go plus 2. 4 to 7 we're going plus 3. And then 7 to 11 we're going plus 4. And automatically we can say this is not arithmetic. And if yes, then you do this stuff, but you don't have to worry about that. So that's basically what's happening on this front page. Even in these here, you have your first term, which is negative 10, your second term, which is negative 7, and that's going up by plus 3, plus 3, plus 3, and so on and so forth. And the key will get put up for this. This is just kind of an overview. So if it's going up by a common difference, if you see a graph, then it's got to stay going up or down on the graph by a common difference. So 20 to 15 to 10, that is going down by 5, so that's yes. This is no, because we go 1, 4, 9, 16, so that's going up by different. That's plus 3, plus 5, plus 7. It's going up by odd numbers every time, so that would be a no. Alright. On the back, there's a few I'd like to make sure we know how to do. When we talk about finding the first 5 terms, well, if I know my first term is 17, I can just add my difference. It's plus 4, so 21, 25, 29, and 33. But ones like B, make sure you can find your first term. If I want to find my first term, my n is going to become 1. So I'll have negative 6 times 1 plus 20, which is negative 6 plus 20, which is 14. So my first term would be for 14. And then another key thing here is if you look back at our formula, when it is in the reduced form, this number here next to the n is the difference every time. So coming back here, our difference would be this, very simply, this negative 6. So to go to the next term, I would just subtract 6, which would give me 8, 2, negative 4, and then negative 10. Oops, sorry. And that's it. Recursive's kind of the same way. First term is negative 7. And then this right here is the difference. So the next term is the previous term plus 5. So if I want to find the second term, it's the first term plus 5. So negative 7 plus 5 is negative 2, 3, 8, 13. This is one that can cause some trouble because we don't have the first term or the difference. So the way you find the difference is you look at where you went from and where you ended up at, or where you started from and where you're ending up at. And you need to find the difference between those two. And to make sure you get your signs right, go from the last term you have to the first term you have. So for instance, I'm trying to find the difference between negative 52 and positive 8, so I'm going to subtract those two. And I went a total of negative 60, or a total of 60 units, and I'm going down because I started 8 and then I'm subtracting. And then I need to average it out over how many spaces I went. So I did that from the second term to the sixth term. So if you count, 2 would go to 3, to 4, to 5, to 6. That means I went 4 spaces, so my difference is negative 15. So this is a lot like slope. You basically just take your y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and these are your x's. But there's another concept here. A2 is 8. So if I labeled out all of these and I started subtracting 15, you know, this would be negative 7, right? Then I would do it again. I'd get negative 23, or sorry, 22, and then negative 39. Okay, so I'm subtracting from there. I can do that, that's fine. But if I wanted to go backwards, then instead of subtracting, I would have to go and add 15 here. And I'd get 23. That would give me 8, subtract again, 7, then subtract again, I get 22, and negative 39. So if you want to go to the previous term, you've got to do the opposite of what your difference is. Okay? That's finding terms. Writing the formula, these aren't too bad. Just make sure you know that when it's recursive, it looks like this. So you need your first term. In this case, it's 35. And then the difference is minus 3. And always check, you know, minus 3, minus 3, minus 3. So you've got an minus 1 minus 3. Okay. So always check for that. And then you're done. Now on this one, same thing. This is a1. This is the difference according to your formula, so negative 2. And then an minus 1, the previous term, plus 3. Now here, we're missing something. We're missing a1, so it's kind of like back up here. We have the third term, and what I'll do is I'll just say, all right, this is 24. You know, I know if I want to go to the next term, I have to subtract 7, so this would be 17, and then a5 would be 10. But to go backwards, I'm going to add 7. That's the opposite of my difference. So I'd have 31, and then a1 is 38. And that's all you got to do. So here we go, an minus 1. And then our difference is minus 7. And as you can see, I subtracted 7, got 31, subtracted again, I got 24. And that would be a3. Now D is pretty simple because it's already in reduced form, so you know that, switch it around, this piece right here is your difference. So you can do this part, but I don't have my first term, so what you can do is to find a1, you can say a1 equals 15. I wrote it like this, I'm sorry. It doesn't matter which way you write it, so put 1 in for n to find your first term. So I get 15 minus 4, which is 11. So my first term is 11. Very simply, you can put that in there. Now the next part is where you just have to make sure that you you know how to distribute. A1 is 8, the difference is 3. Your simplified explicit formula is an equals a1 plus n minus 1 times the difference. So just substitute your numbers in. A1 is 8. N minus 1 times the difference is negative 3. I put mine in parentheses so I know I'm not subtracting. And then go through and distribute. 8, negative 3 times n is minus 3n. You're distributing this. You combine like terms. 8 plus 3.
Move this term here, keep the negative sign. 8 plus 3 is 11, and that's your general formula for that. And that's it. So this one's already simplified. So like on C, what you need to do is just you have your first term and then find the difference. This one, you actually have to find the difference, right? This would be 115 minus 52 over 10 minus 3, right? I went this many spaces, so this is 63.
over 7, which is 9. And so now I have my first term, or I don't have my first term, I have to count backwards, won't I? And you go from there. Due to time, I have to stop here. But I will put up the key to show the rest of the work for these, and we can go from there.